I'll save my recent injury for the very end because this is ridiculous. Worst injury I've had next to my knee thing. Watching him go on that rail and basically like face plant. Oh, look who's excited to see me. Oh, hello. Sit down on here.
Yeah, actually,
lift it.
What's those things? Just take it down.
There it is. Boom. Boom. I wonder if we can even see the keys in the shot. See if we can get this thing started. Cool. Double beep means we're good. Lower this thing into the water. There you go. Now I hear it bubbling. Means it's in. We still gotta leave it up enough for when we come back in. Oh, we gotta pull the choke. I almost forgot about that part. Nope. Pull the choke again. Uh-oh. What am I doing wrong? Double beep. Uh-oh, we're not getting a beep. We've had issues with this jet ski. Just got it back from getting fixed too. Oh, maybe it's because it's not. Oh, it's there you go. That's probably why. Here, we'll do it again. All right. We're gonna have to go do something. Get this sucker going again. I'm a nerd now. Camera head.
Definition of a nerd.
You hear that noise when it rolls up? WD-40. I cannot bring this jet ski up without this thing getting quieter. Is it this gear? Oh, that quieted it right down. And it's easier to turn now. Oh yeah, that was the battery. Battery was cooked. There you go, leave the tips out a little bit. All right, here it goes. Whoa! Oh man! They got a sandbag on that thing, so they have like a huge wave coming off it. I gotta be respectful of their space. I'm gonna hit the wave though. Here it is. Oh, right here, right here, right here. Good spot to hit the wave. Oh! Sound a little bit stuffy right now. I apologize, I'm sick. But I wanted to talk about the worst skate injury that I've got, that I somehow just got the other day when I wasn't even actually skating, but I was on my board. So we'll get into that story. But it really made me start to think more about actual skate injuries and the ones that I've firsthand seen in front of my own eyes. Because if you search on YouTube, skate injuries, you're gonna see some really gnarly ones. It's always really gnarly seeing it on the computer. But when you see some of the ones you see happen in front of your own eyes in real life, it hits twice as bad. But skate injuries have always been I don't know if it's like an insecurity that I have with skating, rather more so just a fear that I have around skateboarding, because I know myself very well. I'm very clumsy, and I know that I'm prone to getting hurt. And that's something I'm gonna talk about in this video. And then I'll get into the worst injury I've ever had that I recently got. Before I get into that, I wanna dive into a couple things that I've seen. Through my years of skating, one of the first injuries that I ever saw in real life was when I was skating with my brother at this skate park that used to be around called Circus. He was learning the trick 5-0 at the time, and I think he had it down in our box we had, and he took it up to this bump to box at Circus, and I remember watching him fall. Also, I should say trigger warning at this point, I guess. Also, I figured I'd make some videos while I'm driving. I spent a lot of time in the car, but my brother was doing a 5-0, and I remember watching him slide back, and the way he tried to catch himself at the time made his arm snap. I remember watching that thinking, oh God, I never want to try a 5-0. And from that point on, I never tried it. And I remember watching a bunch of people at the skate park on the round rail, coincidentally that same year, learning 5-0s, and everyone was trying it. I was the only one not trying it. And it left me with this fear of 5-0s for the rest of my time on the skateboard. Still to this day, I will not try a 5-0 because I remember watching my brother snap his arm over that. The next injury I saw right after this is about a year later. I remember one of my friends told me he used to skate, but the more I was like hanging out with him at school and chatting, he, I think, got inspired to skate again because I was skating. and he started to get back out in his own accord and go skate. But one day we met up. We went to the West Chicago skate park. This was on the down rail, because I remember he was like, oh yeah, I can hit down rails just fine, whatever. There was this down rail that I remember was on it, and it's still there. It's like an 8-stair rail, but it's a pretty sharp down. And I remember him doing a back feeble. Even though there was a huge gap between the ground and the rail, it kind of was one of those ones that just sends you straight down. One of the times he went for it, he went straight down and he jammed his ankle and snapped his ankle that day. I don't think to this day I will try down rails, because I really know they're not for me, unless it's a smaller down rail, then I will. Because there's an older video, maybe even a second video, where I am skating a down rail because I got the pride and, you know, the excitement of learning it. But another injury that sticks out to me from this time, there's a couple of them, was one year when I went to camp, and I think I was still in high school at this time. We were going to this place called Lake Owen Camp, and long story short, I met this kid there, and I think I have the video unlisted. May or may not provide the video here to show you guys, but there was this kid I met named Elijah, and he was kind of one of those, like, I'm gonna go for it, try everything kind of kids, right? And you're at camp too, so it's not like you have all this time to keep going back to this down rail or go to this ledge or whatever. And in that moment, I was like, oh man, it unlocked a new fear of me skating stairs, because I was always like leaning on the side of caution with it, even though I had kickflipped, I think a 5 or 6 stair myself and kickflipped like a plank gap and stuff. I was still kind of like, oh, I guess you can break your shit on stairs. From that point on, I was kind of like, ooh, maybe I don't skate such like a wide staircase, rather keep it to like a 3 or 4 stair if I skate it, and not try to push myself to like a 15 stair. Again, I don't know if this teeters on like an insecurity of mine with skating, and if it does, so be it. Another skate injury that I saw that really kind of stuck out to me at this time was going to Asylum with my friend Jordan, and I have this video on unlisted too. We went there to go film this edit, and we had filmed like 7 or 8 tricks, and the edit's up on my channel, Jordan Meadows at Asylum. You can go watch it. And this isn't to like demotivate anybody. If skating rails your thing, freaking go for it. If you want to try a rail, you think you're good enough for it, go for it. Just be aware of what can happen. And also, too, I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who's 28. As we get older, skate injuries prolong themselves. I'll get into that in a little bit. Anyway, that same day at Asylum, one of the last few tries he did, I don't think he snapped his ankle, but I remember he hurt his ankle bad enough skating that rail at Asylum that him and I went off to McDonald's to look for an ice bag, and like one of the first McDonald's we went to didn't have an ice bag, but like another McDonald's we went to ended up having one. And just watching how bad he hurt his ankle made me kind of have this fear of like, even just not skating at the time scared me, because I was like, I just want to be able to wake up and skate and not get hurt, right? So I wanted to do tricks that I could almost guarantee myself I didn't get hurt. And it's kind of counterintuitive with skating, right? Because with skating, you're kind of like, well, I want to, you know, try new tricks. And in trying new tricks, it's risky because you fear getting hurt. That's why it's risky. There are tricks that, you know, everyone's built different, so injuries are different for everybody. Certain people can like land on their ankle a certain way and be fine. You know, I think I've been one of those people in the past. As a younger kid, you know, your body's developing too, so it depends on like your age. Sometimes you don't have like the right nutrition, and because you don't have the right nutrition, then maybe you're more injury prone. You know, everyone's different, so injuries are different for everyone. So I don't want someone to like predicate this video and their own body off of, you know, injuries they may or may not get and say, oh, I can't do it because I watched this video, right? So the next 2 things, real quickly before I get into those, is this last injury that really sticks out to me, which would be the Brian Lotti injury. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was from Jared Kuhn's video. He had this video he put out called Crunzo. The beginning of Brian's part was this injury I was there to experience in real life. We were skating at this Sports Center's rail, big down rail, and he was trying nollie backboard. And I remember standing on top watching him pop this, and then at one point I went down to the bottom and sat next to one of his good friends. I remember watching Brian do nollie backboard on this rail. Clip's online. It's in Brian Lotti at Crunzo, the very beginning of it. And I'll never forget the Youth Lagoon song starts it off. Watching him go on that rail and basically like face plant the concrete off the rail. That lives so clear in my head. Not only was he skating like a big down rail, but in that moment, and I guess double trigger warning, I guess, for this part, you can skip ahead like 20 seconds if you don't want to hear me talk about this. I remember we saw some blood, and we also saw like all these little white pieces go everywhere, and we were stunned. And I remember watching his friend Pete next to me just basically pass out because he saw blood and he just was out for the count. And I'm like, Pete, like, what's up? And like, I think we ended up like getting him to like come back. And we looked around and saw these little white pieces, and we're like, oh God, those were his teeth, those were his teeth. All of a sudden, someone went, oh no, that's his necklace, I think. And we're like, what? And we look, and he was wearing a necklace, a beaded necklace. So it was a bunch of pieces from the necklace. I think he did lose a tooth through that, but dude, I don't even know why. We should have just called the ambulance immediately. But I think we all just picked him up, like, and made sure he was okay and all that. And then took Brian to the local hospital in the area. I don't know why we didn't. I think we were like scared of something at that time. Our brains weren't developed enough at the time to be like ambulance. We just took him ourselves. But that injury, man, that sticks out to me. I'll never forget that one. What I want to talk about here next is my own worst injury that I've got, and injuries as I'm 28, and why I'm kind of talking about this. I'll save my recent injury for the very end because this is ridiculous. As I'm getting older, I'm realizing that your body kind of reacts differently to injuries. And I remember when I was younger, I would straight up like hurt my ankle, 5 minutes there, brush it off, cool, we're good, keep going. I still had younger me in me right now. When I get hurt at 28, a simple little ankle injury, dude, I still feel my ankle right now from when I hurt it like 2 or 3 weeks ago a little bit. I'm just like waiting for another few weeks to go by for me to be totally absolved of that. Even just hurting my heel, like I still feel my heel a little bit from a few weeks ago. And I'm like, dude, I just want this to go away. But it was so nice when I was younger being able to brush that shit right off and keep going. I could just hit a kickflip again. And granted, now I can still do that within certain confines, right? If I cut myself a little bit, then I'll just kind of put a Band-Aid on it, or, you know, chill out for a little bit, let it dry up, and then I'll keep going. Or sometimes, like, maybe I just, like, jam my toe. I can sit there and keep going. There's little exceptions like that still. And I think that's kind of a bummer because that kind of sets me back as far as making skate content now, because while I want to post skate content and like make these videos like me trying backboard alley-oop shove and keep going until I get better and like make little self-improvement videos. One thing I do is I keep up my cardio. I use a treadmill pretty much every single day. I run about an hour and a half on this treadmill, and I think it keeps my ankles and keeps my legs moving so that I'm active and prepared for skateboarding. But I think going to the gym and working out your muscles and things like that can definitely help get around this as you get older a little bit more. For me, my main job is out filming people and like filming interviews, filming weddings, filming music videos, you know, things like that. One of the parts of it is not getting hurt, because I have to be able to do my job. And if I'm hurt, I can't, you know, maybe hold a camera or walk around holding a camera. Then I'm screwed. Then it's like, what am I to do, right? And so one of my friends I was talking to recently, he works like a construction job where he's like climbing ladders and stuff. And he told me if he goes out to skate, he just does it for fun, because he's out just to strictly have fun with his friends and not really hit spots and go hard, because he has to make money. He has to be able to live, right? And I totally related to him on that front. I think that's where I'm at too with it, where I might not push myself in these videos anymore to like go hard on skating. Every once in a while I'll make a video where I'm like, hey, I'm here at the skate park and just trying this for a little bit, but I'm not gonna push myself too hard because I don't want to get hurt. Like the top of my left ankle's now hurting from making one of those videos. But I think another thing too that's worth talking about here is I don't want to like fall behind on skate content, because I think oftentimes on YouTube a lot of people look for people that are really good at skating, and that's what makes you feel like gravitate towards other skaters specifically, but I think there's ways that I can still be me and not have to worry so much about trying so hard in skating and trying to wreck myself for the clip. Because I have to acknowledge, like, I'm older. I need to take care of my body. My dad got a knee injury when he was younger, and oh boy, the other day I found out how much it costs to get a new knee. And dude, I already hurt my own knee. Now, it's a perfect segue into this next segment. And I don't want to have to deal with that price of getting like a new knee or going to the hospital or hospital bills. I don't want to have to deal with that stuff. I know I'm clumsy. This is a great segue. I hurt my knee one time. One of my friends was riding around on this fishtail board, and we were at Fargo. And one day he was like, hey dude, you want to try skating this thing? And I was like, nah. But I watched him do, I think, a kickflip on this fishtail board down this 4-block. I'm like, what the hell? He can, like, or maybe he ollied it or something. But I was like, what the hell? He can skate it with this big fat board. I tried to ollie this staircase, knowing darn well I wasn't that great at skating stairs. And boy, oh boy, did I frickin' do that. And I jammed my knee. And my knee had this pop to it that I felt. And it felt so bad. And even to this day, when I grab my knee right now, or sometimes if I don't stretch my knee out enough before I skate, dude, I will hurt that knee so bad. And I'm so scared of breaking my knee or hurting my knee or having like a permanent life injury. Like this year, it finally felt better after like 4 or 5 years for the first time ever. But that's the story of my knee injury, and that's kind of why I'm always leaning on the side of caution, or I have to like kind of stop trying a trick after a while. I want to tell you about the new skate injury that I just got. That's the worst injury I've had next to my knee thing. All these years of skating, people always said, wear a helmet when you skate and blah, blah, and I'm always like, no, I don't need a helmet, whatever. I was filming skating this past weekend with all my buddies. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to skate today. I'm just going to get on my board, film some skating, be an injury-free day, right? Wrong. Got done filming the line. On the way back from filming, rolling back to where we started, I caught this pebble. I fell, hit my hip, and I hit my freaking head on the concrete. Dude, even right now, like, my head still hurts like a little bit. My hip is still hurting a little bit. And I'm just like, God damn, dude. Filming skating, go figure. Is that not crazy to you? That in of itself is taking me like a week to recover. Like almost a week and a half, and I think I'll be better. But I'm like, God damn, man. Getting older, you know, it really does prolong your injuries. And it makes it significantly harder to make like actual like skating, basically on the board content. So I think from here on out, what I'm gonna do is make my content just whatever I want it to be. You see Garrett Jenner and Dale Decker making videos. Like Dale Decker's been making a lot of these car chat videos. Garrett Jenner's been making a lot of like house content, stuff like that. So I think I want to steer my content in the direction of what they're doing, show you a little bit of my work stuff, take you in kind of like my daily life, and include skating when it can happen. I am still working on filming my friends towards, maybe in the fall, I'll drop like a full-length video of like actual skate clips, but I want to keep up the content. I do enjoy making content. I kind of fell out of love with making content for a while because of what I'm talking about right now, but I want to kind of keep it up and take you guys through my life and what goes on behind the scenes and just some, you know, fun stuff. So hopefully you can enjoy that and appreciate it, and I'll still talk about skating and make it sort of on topic of skating when I can. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that, and I just want to make the content be me after all. So I do want to provide value on that front of things, because there's a lot of things I can provide value for. So if you got some value out of this, or maybe made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.